Commissioner Gordon, Bane has escaped.
The world is littered with half-written lives. People who began with fire in their eyes but let the cold winds of doubt extinguish their flame. Their dreams lie scattered like fragments of an unfinished masterpiece, abandoned not because they lacked talent, but because they lacked resolve. You see it everywhere. Lives left incomplete, ambitions traded for comfort, and legacies drowned in mediocrity. It's tragic, yet so ordinary, isn't it? The potential of the extraordinary smothered by the embrace of the mundane. Some start strong, believing they are the protagonists of their story. But the moment adversity arrives, they retreat, leaving chapters unwritten and plots unresolved. They allow others to hold the pen, to scribble their doubts, fears, and failures across their pages. It's not just weakness, it's betrayal. Betrayal of the self, of the vision they once claimed to honor. And every time they stop, every time they hesitate, they solidify their role as nothing more than a footnote in someone else's tale. Life doesn't pause for indecision. Time is ruthless, carving paths forward whether you move or not. Those who stand still aren't spared, they're erased, faded into the backdrop of the relentless forward march. The story doesn't end, but their role diminishes. One day they wake up and realize the narrative they once controlled now belongs to someone else, someone stronger, hungrier, and willing to bleed for what they want. Perfection is the enemy of completion. Waiting for the right moment, the perfect condition, the absolute certainty. It's the kind of poison that turns ambition into stagnation. Progress doesn't demand perfection, it demands persistence. And those who linger obsessed with flawless beginnings never reach the satisfaction of an earned ending. Their unfinished stories are cautionary tales, whispered warnings to those who dare to dream. There's a peculiar agony in knowing what you could have been but weren't. It eats away at the soul, a torment worse than failure because it's self-inflicted. To start and fail is forgivable. To never begin, or worse, to stop halfway, is an insult to the gift of existence. The unfinished story haunts its author, reminding them of what could have been, of what they willingly surrendered to fear or laziness. You're not here to fade quietly into the margins. You are the author, the director, the architect of your narrative. But that doesn't mean the journey will be easy. Writing a story worth telling is bloody work. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you face the storms head-on, tearing through doubt and despair with the ferocity of someone who refuses to be forgotten. Every page soaked in sweat, every chapter written in the ink of your own perseverance. It's tempting to stop, isn't it, when the weight of expectation crushes your spirit and the voices of doubt grow louder than your dreams. That's the moment when most falter. That's when the story remains unfinished. But this is also where greatness begins. The ones who endure, who refuse to yield, are the ones who rise. They push forward when others crumble. They write their legacy while others vanish into obscurity. The story you tell yourself is the foundation of your existence. It's the invisible thread that weaves through every choice, every action, and every moment you live. When you speak to yourself in whispers of doubt and defeat, you lay the groundwork for a life bound by limitations. But when the narrative shifts, when you dare to believe in the possibility of more, something extraordinary happens. The script of your life isn't set in stone. It's a fluid tale shaped by the beliefs you hold. The tragedy is that many don't realize this, so they become the prisoners of their own stories, repeating patterns of failure, regret, and mediocrity until the final chapter closes. The truth is, the words you repeat internally aren't just thoughts. They're commands to your subconscious. A mind that's told it isn't worthy will sabotage every opportunity to prove itself right. A person convinced they're destined for failure will ensure their own downfall, even when the path forward is clear. Your story can either be the greatest lie you tell yourself or the most powerful truth. It's your decision whether it becomes a weapon or a tool. The mind listens and it obeys. But what happens when you rewrite that narrative? When you refuse to let fear and failure dictate your plot? The possibilities become endless. Suddenly you're not bound by the chains of self-doubt. You're free to take risks, to dream bigger, to chase goals that once seemed out of reach. And here's the irony. The only thing standing between you and that freedom is the story you cling to. If you want to stop being an unfinished story, you must rewrite the lies you've accepted as truths. The story you tell yourself is the compass guiding your every move. So why not let it lead you toward greatness? The story within you defines everything you do, whether you realize it or not. It is not just idle chatter or fleeting thoughts. It is the core blueprint shaping your existence. This story becomes the voice of your actions, the limits of your courage, and the architect of your destiny. It whispers doubts when you need confidence and gives excuses when you need resilience. Yet this same story, if rewritten, could be your greatest tool for transformation. How often have you held back because the narrative in your mind convinced you that you weren't ready, worthy, or capable? This is the prison we create not from reality, but from the stories we tell ourselves. These stories aren't mere words, they are chains or wings, depending on how we use them. Consider how deeply these narratives affect even the smallest aspects of your life. They dictate your willingness to take risks, to face fears, and even to dream beyond the mundane. A person who believes their worth is tied to external validation will forever chase approval, never realizing they hold the pen to their own worth. Someone who clings to a story of failure will find themselves sabotaging every opportunity, ensuring their own beliefs come true. This isn't coincidence, it's the power of the mind to manifest what it believes. Change the narrative and you begin to change your actions, your habits, and ultimately your life. Yet, rewriting this story is no simple task. It means confronting the lies you've grown comfortable with. It means tearing down the walls of doubt, fear, and self-pity you've lived behind for so long. These walls are not just barriers. They are comfort zones, places you retreat to when the world feels overwhelming. But comfort is the enemy of growth, and every day you stay there is another day wasted in an unfinished story. Comfort doesn't just delay your progress. It erases the potential chapters you could have written, if only you dared to step beyond it. Think of the greatest stories you've ever read. They're not tales of ease and simplicity, they're sagas of struggle, resilience, and triumph. The protagonists face their fears head-on, not because they are fearless, but because they refuse to let fear dictate their story. And that's the difference between a life lived and a life wasted. It's not about avoiding pain or adversity. It's about embracing them as part of your story's arc, knowing that they're what give meaning to the triumphs. This is where most people falter. They cling to the lie that their story has already been written, that their potential is fixed, that their struggles are unique. They see themselves as victims of circumstance rather than authors of their destiny. And so they stop writing, allowing their narrative to remain unfinished. They blame time, fate, or others for their stagnation, never realizing the power to change was always in their hands. It's not external forces that keep you from completing your story. It's the decision to stop trying. But what if you refuse to let that happen? What if you decided right now to take control of your story? The truth is, every moment you hesitate, the pages of your life keep turning. Time waits for no one, and the unwritten chapters of your life aren't waiting for your permission to move forward. This is why the unfinished story is so tragic. It represents not a lack of opportunity, but a lack of courage to seize it. And courage doesn't mean being fearless, it means being willing to act despite the fear. Every day is an opportunity to rewrite your narrative. The voice in your head may try to convince you otherwise, but that voice is not your truth. It's a reflection of your past fears, failures, and insecurities. It's the echo of every time you hesitated, every time you let doubt win. But echoes can fade, new voices can rise, and the beauty of life is that no story is ever truly finished until you decide it is. So why let fear, doubt, or complacency dictate your ending? There is a silent tragedy that echoes through the lives of many. The music within them dies unheard. This music is not literal, it's the symphony of their dreams, passions, and unfulfilled potential. People go through life holding on to their ideas, their aspirations, and their deepest desires, thinking there will always be time to express them. Yet, time, relentless and unforgiving, marches forward without pause. Before they know it, the opportunity to share that music is gone. The saddest part isn't that they lacked the talent or resources to succeed, it's that they never allowed themselves the chance to even try. This silence is not born of inability, but fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping outside the boundaries of comfort and familiarity. They tell themselves the same story over and over. Tomorrow, I'll begin. Next year, I'll take that leap. But tomorrow turns into years, and years turn into lifetimes. The unwritten chapters pile up, and the music that once burned brightly within them fades into a faint hum, barely audible amidst the noise of their excuses. And when the end comes, they look back, not with pride, but with regret for the songs they never sang. This isn't just about artistic expression. The music represents the uniqueness within each of us, the ideas that only we can bring to life, the dreams that only we can chase, the legacy that only we can leave behind. To die with your music still inside you is to rob the world of something irreplaceable. Every time you suppress your voice, every time you delay your dreams, you contribute to this silent epidemic of unrealized potential. The unfinished story isn't just personal, it's universal. It's a reminder of what could have been, of the inspiration that might have changed lives had it been given the chance. But here's the truth. The music doesn't have to die. It doesn't matter how long it's been silenced. There's always time to begin again. The only thing standing between you and the song waiting to be sung is your willingness to step forward. Courage isn't about certainty, it's about action. It's about playing your music, not knowing how it will be received, but trusting that it needs to be heard. And in doing so, you give others permission to do the same. It's easy to let the noise of the world drown out your inner melody, There are 1,000 distractions, 1,000 excuses to postpone your dreams. But every time you push that music aside, you lose a part of yourself. You lose the chance to make your story matter. Because the truth is, your music isn't just for you. It's for the people who need to hear it. It's for the lives you can touch, the hearts you can inspire, and the change you can create. Think of the great figures who have shaped history. They were not perfect, nor were they always confident. But they refused to let their music die within them. They acted, they created, they dared to let their voices be heard. And because they did, their stories became legends. They understood that an unfinished story is not just a loss for the individual, it's a loss for the world. The same is true for you. Your music matters. Your story matters. The tragedy of a silent symphony is that it could have been anything. A masterpiece, a revolution, a source of hope for generations to come. But silence guarantees that it will be nothing. Don't let that be your fate. Don't let the music within you fade into the void of what could have been. Begin now. Let your story resonate, let your voice be heard, let your life be the symphony it was always meant to be. An unfinished life is not a tragedy of circumstance, it is a deliberate choice. Every time fear whispers louder than ambition, every time comfort outweighs the desire for greatness, a chapter is left unwritten. People love to blame the external world for their stagnation, but the truth is that no one takes the pen from your hand. You decide to stop writing. You choose to let doubt hold the reins. And in doing so, you leave your story unfinished. Not because it had to be, but because you allowed it. Fear is the silent author of many unfinished stories. It doesn't come with grand gestures or loud proclamations. It seeps in quietly, convincing you to wait, to hesitate, to doubt. It tells you that safety is better than struggle, that mediocrity is less painful than failure. And so you stop moving forward. You stay in the comfort of what you know, even as the potential of what you could be slips away. Fear feeds on your hesitation, growing stronger with every moment you delay, until it becomes the master of your narrative. But the unfinished story isn't just incomplete, it's a betrayal of the life you were meant to live. Every unmade decision, every avoided risk, is a rejection of the opportunities you've been given. It's a choice to let fear dictate your destiny instead of courage. And while you may convince yourself that you're waiting for the right time, the truth is that time waits for no one. The chapters of your life are turning whether you write them or not. Fear of death is the shadow that looms over many lives, but it is not death itself that should be feared. The real terror lies in never beginning to live. To exist without purpose, to survive without passion, to move through the days as if they are obligations rather than opportunities. That is the true tragedy. Death is inevitable, but a life half-lived is a choice. It is the result of hesitation, doubt, and the failure to embrace the moments that could define us. Many people die long before their hearts stop beating, entombed by their own inaction and fear. Living begins the moment you reject the fear of failure and embrace the uncertainty of growth. Life isn't meant to be a straight, predictable path. It's a battle, a journey into the unknown where every choice is a step closer to fulfillment or regret. Yet too many retreat from this challenge. They fear the risks, the hardships, and the discomfort that come with truly living. They tell themselves it's safer to stay where they are to avoid the pain of failure. but in doing so they miss the entire point of life. It's not comfort that defines a meaningful existence. It's the willingness to face adversity head-on. The unfinished story is not a matter of fate. It's a matter of choice. Every day you choose whether to live fully or merely exist. You choose whether to pursue your passions or let them wither in the face of doubt. And each of these choices becomes a sentence in your story, a thread in the tapestry of your life. Those who fear death more than a wasted life fail to understand that the measure of a man is not in how long he lives, but in how deeply he experiences each moment. True living demands courage. It requires stepping into the arena, knowing you might fail, but refusing to let that stop you. It's about taking risks, chasing dreams, and creating memories that are worth the pain of the struggle. Because in the end, it's not the failures you'll regret, it's the chances you didn't take, the chapters you left unwritten. Life doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards action. And the only way to truly conquer the fear of death is to live so fully that you leave nothing undone. Think of the legacy you want to leave behind. Will it be one of hesitation and safety, or will it be a story of boldness and courage? When the final chapter comes, will you look back with pride at the life you've lived? Or will you mourn the opportunities you let slip away? The answer lies in what you do today, in the choices you make and the risks you take. Life is not measured by its length, but by its depth. And it is depth that turns an ordinary existence into an extraordinary story. Each day is a brick in the foundation of the legacy you will leave behind. What you do today is not isolated. It ripples forward, shaping the life you build and the impact you create. Yet so many squander their days as if they are infinite, unaware that every choice, every action, and every moment matters. Time does not wait, and each passing day is an opportunity either seized or lost forever. To treat today as inconsequential is to weaken the foundation of tomorrow, leaving cracks that cannot be undone. The unfinished story is born not of external challenges, but of internal neglect. It is the result of allowing procrastination, fear, and complacency to dictate your actions. When you waste a day, you are not just delaying progress, you are robbing your future self of the foundation they need to thrive. A strong legacy is not built in a single act of greatness. It is the accumulation of consistent effort, of daily choices that align with your vision. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to the structure of your life. Consider the lives of those who inspire you. Their legacies were not accidents. They were the result of intentional choices made over and over again. They understood that what you do today echoes into eternity. They refused to let a single moment go to waste, knowing that every day was an opportunity to write a new chapter in their story. And that's the key. Understanding that greatness isn't about perfection, but persistence. It's about showing up even when it's hard and doing the work that needs to be done. The tragedy of the unfinished story is that it's entirely avoidable. It's not fate that leaves a life incomplete. It's the decision to stop trying, to give in to fear or laziness. But the beauty of life is that it's never too late to start again. No matter how many days you've wasted, no matter how many opportunities you've missed, you can choose to begin anew. The foundation may be cracked, but it can always be repaired with effort, discipline, and determination. Each day you hesitate, you weaken the structure of your story. But each day you act, you strengthen it. The choice is yours. Will you continue to delay, or will you take action? Will you leave your story unfinished, or will you commit to building something extraordinary? The answer lies not in tomorrow, but in what you do today. Because today is all you ever truly have. Time is unforgiving, but it is also the greatest gift you've been given. Don't waste it. Use today to lay the foundation for a legacy that will inspire others, a story that will echo long after you're gone. For in the end, it is not the grand gestures that matter most. It is the daily acts of courage, persistence, and purpose. Write your story with intention and let every day be a testament to the life you've lived.